I'm Sia, and I want to thank Romeo and the Saturday Night Online crew for having me on. Okay, I am going to start answering questions. Okay, let me give you one more of those. Hi, I'm Sia. Thanks, Romeo and the Saturday Night Line. Thanks, Romeo and the Saturday Night Online crew for having me on. Okay. Hi, I'm Sia. I want to thank Romeo and the Saturday Night Online crew for having me on. Okay, I'm going to start answering questions. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, Jillian from Miami wants to know how I came up with the music video concepts for Chandelier and Elastic Heart. I guess they kind of evolved, really. Like, I had wanted to work with Maddie I had seen her on Dance Mums, and I knew that I wanted to work with her at some point. I knew I wanted to work with Ryan Heffington, the choreographer. I'd seen one of his performances, and I knew I wanted to work with Daniel again, who I had co-directed the Breathe Me video with 10 years earlier, maybe 11. And so I pulled us all together, and all I knew is that I wanted it to look like she was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And I knew what I wanted the sets to look like. First, they were based on the album artwork, which I had taken around a friend's house. I had taken all of the photographs for the album artwork. So I wanted to sort of keep it in line with that. And then Daniel brought the art of somebody else. And I was really impressed with his art. And so I showed that to the producer, and they went on their way looking for locations. And when we found the location that we shot the video in, I knew it was the one. It was the first one we went to, and I cancelled the rest of the scout because we knew it was perfect. So, it was very loose. It really was a loose treatment, a loose concept. Elastic Heart, I wanted to have two self states, kind of at war. And I knew that I wanted to put like men in the blonde bob and also, children and animals. And I wanted everyone to be able to wear the blonde bob and be Sia the pop star, But when I finally got to the day of the shoot, there had been so many parodies of Chandelier and dudes in blonde bobs that I was reticent to put Shia in the blonde bob because I didn't want it to lose its edge. And he's such a profound actor, and so I wanted to make sure that it was still meaningful. So the concept was just literally it's nothing new, two warring self states in the, stuck in a cage, the cage of the mind. So, going through stuff. And I really just wanted to make sure that Maddie remained empowered throughout it, and that, it was an emotional performance. But again, it was a very loose structure on my part, and we used exactly the same team, plus Shia. It was an excellent day. All right, so Jamal from Toronto wants to know, what do you like to do in your spare time? Well, Jamal, my main favourite thing to do is lie in bed with the dogs and the hubs and watch television. That's my favourite thing to do in the whole entire universe. And my next favourite thing is probably to hang around with my friends and just sit around and, drink cups of tea and stuff like that, chatting. Really, those are the things I love more than anything else. If I could do those things all the time, I would. But I think without being a little bit creative, I'd probably go crazy. Okay. We've got question number 3 from Chandler from Wilma. Do I ever plan on touring for the 1,000 Forms of Fear album? I don't. I would like to, because I would like to give the fans what they want, but I also know that the toll it takes on my serenity and on my personal life, and it is really tough touring. It's very lonely and discombobulating and you're in a different place every day and you never get to settle. And, sure, now, I'm at a point where I'm successful enough to be able to do it comfortably, or take the dogs and take the hubs and maybe even take some friends. But it's still very disruptive in terms of just trying to lead a regular life on the side, So it's more important to me to lead a regular life on the side. And I'd like to do maybe 1 or 2 shows here or there at some point. That's my fantasy, is that I might do a few shows in maybe some of the major cities around the world, and make sure that, they're affordable so everybody can come. Lucia from Rio Cuarta, I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced, asked, I've noticed Maddie and her hands painted pink in the Chandelier video and in live performances. What does it represent? Nothing really. It was just that when I looked at the composition of the shot and her in the shot of the videos, it occurred to me that she was very muted because she's all sort of one color. And I thought that it might be just nice visually for us to put a little of that bright pink paint on her hands and on her feet, so that when she was moving, doing her dancing, your eye was drawn to that. And really, it was as simple as that. I thought it would look beautiful. Let's see. Andrew from New York City asks, what was the first live concert you ever saw? It was the Stray Cats. They were a rockabilly band in the 80s, and I was about 5 years old. And the second one was Sade, and I think I was about 11. Question number 6 is from Hayer or Hajer from Tripoli. Who would you love to work with next? Let's see. I guess I would like to work with Stevie Wonder. That's who I would like to work with next. Question number 7 is from Justin from Washington, D.C., and he asks, what is my favorite junk food? Oh, for sure, it's like, I'd say it's like, like fries. So delicious. I think it's French fries. Yeah, it's French fries. No, question 8 is Oscar from Corona. Is asking me, if you could be any age for a week, what age would you be? Gosh. I mean, I think it's a crappy answer, but I'd actually just be exactly how old I am now. Because I've never been happier or felt better about myself. So, that's my answer. Boring. Question 9 is from Joe from Andover. Throughout your time as an artist, which has been the most memorable and mind-sticking point within it? Let's just make sure we're still filming here. Yes, we are. Okay, throughout my time, so Joe from Andover wants to know, throughout my time as an artist, which has been the most memorable and mind-sticking point within it? I think probably meeting David Letterman and being on his show. It was certainly a memorable experience. When I was a kid, I used to take baths and imagine that I was being interviewed by him, and sometimes I would imagine that he was my dad, or my uncle, and so it was extremely exciting when I finally got to be on his show. It was, I don't know, if you watched it on YouTube now, you would see how excited I was when he walked over to the stage to shake my hand. It was a bit of a dream come true. Question 10 is for Emily from Los Angeles, asks, what is my favorite television show? Gosh, there are so many good ones. My old school shows would probably be like Sex and the City and Friends. And then new school, I really like Homeland. And Top of the Lake, that was a Netflix show. Yeah. I'm really enjoying Togetherness right now. So good. Okay. Those are my favorite television shows. Question 11 is Cassandra from New York. What instruments do I know how to play? Well, none, efficiently. but I can play chords on the piano. Sort of, I made them up. I've never learnt them, but I can put together a song very, very shabbily. And I can kind of play the melodica, and I can play a little bit of like xylophone, but really just terribly. So I'm mostly just a singer. Question 12 is Nick from Hollywood. Would I consider playing any festivals? Yeah, I mean, I think I would. It really would have to be, I guess, I would have to be in a great mood when somebody asked, and it would have to be in a place that I'd like to go, and it would have to be enough money to make it worthwhile for me to want to leave my life that I love here in LA, the sofa, the dogs, all of that sort of stuff, It's tricky because when you're able to write pop songs for other people and make a good living, and you really don't have to go out and sing anymore, because I sing, really, I like singing, but the whole performing for everybody, that's not really, like Christina Aguilera said that she lives for that, is performing for other people and for the crowd, and she lives for that and the energy of it. And that's just not like, it isn't like that for me. And so, I don't know, I really feel like I would have to feel like maybe if all the proceeds were going to like dog rescue or something, maybe, but it really depends on what day you ask me. Okay, let's see. 13, David from Indianapolis asks, what is your songwriting process like? Does melody come first or is it lyrics? It's usually, I will have on my phone, I will have a list of song concepts. So, like, say I would have just titles like Titanium or Perfume or, or whatever, Diamonds. Actually, Diamonds in the Sky fell out of my mouth. That one I didn't have written down. It just sort of fell out. It was very strange. But for the most part, I'll usually have some titles. But the melody comes first. So the melody comes first while someone's playing their track to me, unless we're writing from scratch. Which is a different process. But if I'm just writing here at home, people send me tracks. I record the first time I'm listening to them, and I sing the first time I'm listening to them. And then if it feels good, I never do it more than once. If it feels good, that song, the way that it came together, then I find words that shape around the sound of the melody. So say I would go, I would know that I needed a a 4-syllable word, so I would go into my songwriting ideas in my notes, and I would see the word titanium, and perhaps I would try and make that song, and then I would milk a metaphor around that word. So that's that. Let's see. What else have we got? Question 14 is Javier from Del Rio. Who were some of your celebrity crushes when you were a teenager? Well, there was Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt. There were, the Coreys, Chaim Feldman. Who else was there? It was like some English pop stars. I think, the usuals. Question 15. Cal from West Midlands. What can we expect from the next album? It's going to be very pure pop. So there'll be less of the old SIA, I guess, and more pure pop. And this is because a lot of these songs I wrote for other people. Oh, I hear little doggies coming. Hi, dogs. Were written for other people. Hello, friendo. See you later. Because a lot of the pop songs I wrote, I wrote for other people, and either they couldn't sing them or nobody felt like singing them, and so, or I was attached to them in some way, but I still felt that they were too pop for this 1,000 Forms of Fear, so they never made the cut. It's quite, there's more commercial or more sort of easily assimilatable, if that's even a word. Very easy to assimilate pop music. Just very straight straightforward, comfy, fun sing-along songs, I think. And then some full gnarly bangers. It's gonna be fun to see how you respond to that. It should be interesting. I wonder if the old fans will like it. I know the new ones will, but I wonder if the old fans will just be like, see you later. Okay, question 16 is Tyler from Kansas City asks me, what is my favorite songwriting experience with another artist? I think it's probably Katy Perry, just because she was such a fun person to be with. And it's really amusing because I literally quit like 20 minutes in. She's really tough to write with because she's very, very highly opinionated, and I'm used to being kind of the dominant one. And I think so is she. And so it was very amusing. She's very analytical, and I'm very much just like, bleh. And so we started trying to write a song. I was just blurting, and she was like, no, and then what about this word, and then what about this word, and no, I don't like that. And she was doing a lot of sort of no. And so I was sort of, I guess at first I felt a bit demoralized, but also like it was, for me, it was like took the fun out of it to be analytical. And so I said to her, hey, can we still be friends if we don't gel in a songwriting way? And she was like, Jesus, don't give up on me yet, you know? And so we kept at it for a little while, and it turned out to be probably my favorite session ever, just because I really enjoy her as a person. And, you know, and even though we have totally different styles and songwriting styles, for some reason, it was really enjoyable. Yeah. So, Katy Perry. Let's see. Question 17 is from Alex from Benton. He asked, what has been my favorite performance of Chandelier so far? Let's see. I mean, I have to say I really liked the Ellen performance of Chandelier, just because it was kind of the first one. And they were so supportive, and they're such a great team, and it was really fun to work with them. And then probably next up it would be the Grammys, because working with Kristen was so fun, and she was so amazing and magic. And, you know, that was the hardest one, though, as well. And I guess that makes it the most rewarding. It was the hardest because I just had to do more as, like, directing that sort of live performance. It was much more than I had anticipated. You know, with Ellen, you have everyone is supporting you for just that performance. For the Grammys, you realize there's 19 other people that need the support of the Grammys, like, staff. So you really don't have as much support. And they gave me all the support they could, but it was definitely a lot more work for me than I'd anticipated. So I'm really glad, because I think it worked out really well. And so I get to, you know, I get to carry that with me. We made it. Okay, question 18 from Kristen from California is, this latest album has so much more energy and reaches a completely new vocal level than you've ever recorded. What changed in you to produce an album like this? I guess probably just writing pop songs for other people. I think starting to, like, lean in that direction, learning about what makes, you know, the everyman tick. And I think at first I had some judgment around the simplicity of it. And then, you know, the more pop music I made, the more accepting I became of it, I guess. And the more respect I gave it, and reverence. And so the more pop songs I wrote for other people, I guess the more likely it was that eventually I would start writing pop songs for me. I guess it was inevitable. So I think it's come from writing pop songs for other people. And the vocals, I guess my vocals have strengthened because of all of this, the daily singing that I was doing, writing pop songs for other people. I think it really strengthened my singing, interestingly. Okay, number 19, question 19 is Sarah from Charlotte asked, what is your favorite song, not including your own, at the moment? I'm like pretty much everybody else on the planet. I like Hosier's Take Me to Church. I think it's so good. 20, question 20 is Ty from Las Vegas. Where and how do you find inspiration for writing music since a lot of your songs refer to an object rather than the concept of love or depression? Well, I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe you may know my music better than me. It's probable, actually. But the majority of my past work was inspired by love or depression. And the referring to an object, I understand what you're saying, because certainly in recent times I've realized that, an object as a title, is easier for people to latch onto. And so I guess that's more of a strategy. And so if you're probably referring to songs that I had originally intended for other people. And those ones I usually will choose an object and then milk the metaphor. So like Titanium, if that's what you're referring to. But really, I mean, a lot of the songs that already, Chandelier is about depression, and alcoholism, and Elastic Heart is about struggles within personal relationships. So Fair Game is definitely a love song. I'm not sure. Question 21, Jake from Mineola. What is your favorite song from your new album, and what was the writing process like for that song? Chandelier, I guess, is my favorite song from A Thousand Forms of Fear, and it was very quick. It was one of those songs that just go blip. It was really very, very quick. I think it maybe took me 1 or 2 minutes to write the chords, and then maybe 20 minutes to write the melody and lyrics, and then another 30 minutes to record the vocals. So it was a good one, that one. Those are my favorite. Those are the ones you're going to hear me talk about. Okay, question 22 is Alexi from Alexi from Brian. How does it feel to know you've inspired so many people? Aww. Well, I didn't really realize I had until I read that sentence. And it feels nice to imagine that is true. Yeah. Question 23 is Camilla from Tiverton. What's your favorite memory? Wow, that's amazing. My favorite memory. Gosh, that's so deeply I don't want to get it wrong. It's a tricky one. Let's think. I mean, my favorite probably memory is my at this point, my wedding day was definitely the best thing that's happened to me that I can remember. Question 24 is Ellie from Scotland. If you had one wish, what would it be? That there was no animal cruelty, and that there was not an overpopulation of animals, and that they were all okay, and that no animals came that no animals were harmed. That's my one wish. They're so sweet and they can't speak for themselves. Okay, question 25 is Chrissy from Oceanside. Besides music, what are your other hobbies? Well, I like to make art. And watch television a lot. Question 26 is Ben from Sydney. How did you get your start in the music industry? I literally was just walking past some old school friends and I said, what are you doing? And they said, we're getting a band together. And I said, do you need a singer? And they said, are you one? And I said, yes. Question 27 is Rex from Carlisle. In the song Elastic Heart, what does the line, "It's hard to lose a chosen one," refer to? It's my favorite line from the song and has come to mean many things to me. Oh, well, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just channeling stuff. So it's a lot of times it's just, it's really just an idea. And then it allows people to project whatever they want onto the lyric for themselves. Really, I think that's what people generally do. But for me, it's hard to lose a chosen one means, when you choose to love somebody and if you eventually have to let them go, it's hard, Question 28, Hector from Colombia asks, what kind of student was I in school? Well, I was very, in primary school, I was a big chatterbox, and they couldn't shut me up. And in high school, I was a real nerd. I was really into academics and trying to get good grades. Question 29, Vito from Long Beach. How do you prevent getting overly attached to a personal song that you give to another artist? Well, you can't prevent it. You can prevent giving them the song. Or once you have given them the song, and if you have seller's remorse, then you just have to practice acceptance. But you know what I found is most times when I have seller's remorse, that person will eventually drop the song off the album and then I get to keep it again for myself. That's recently happened. Or they'll give it back to you and then you're like, yay, I can have it again. And then someone else will ask you for it. And then you'll be like, oh, maybe I don't need to do it myself and give it to them. That happened recently. I'm very excited that someone gave me back a song and then it ended up on an even more fabulous artist's album. So I'm really excited. Let's see. Question 30, Elvin from Puerto Rico. How do you define happiness? Wow. I think that for me, definitely happiness is wanting what you have, not longing for what you don't, sort of practicing some acceptance with where you are in your life, no matter where that is, and being grateful for what you have. And the last question is question 31, is Nizar from Biblos. Will your new album, This Is Acting, be released anytime soon, and are David Guetta or Eminem featured on the track list? It is not going to be released probably until early next year, or the very end of this year, but I think probably, knowing the music industry, it'll be early next year. And I don't know. I mean, that would be great. Thanks for the inspiration. Thanks, Romeo. I've had a great time web chatting. Thanks for everyone for submitting all of your excellent questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night. Now I have to try and work out how to do this without completely showing my face, and my thing has totally... Yes, it's still happening. Don't show my